Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Today, we will be talking about an important topic, school safety, and how we can all work together to help keep our children and schools safe. Today, we will be covering 1, what is school safety? How do we define safety in our schools? 2, what is already being done? Learn about what is being done currently in our schools. 3, what can you and your child do about safety? We'll talk about what power students have in keeping our campus safe and how you as a parent can support your child in making good decisions. We'll also talk about the serious consequences students face when they make threatening texts, posts, or help spread these types of messages. And 4, take the lead. Lastly, we will talk about how important it will be for students to lead the way with guidance from parents and educators. Now, let me ask you all a question. What is school safety? Let's think silently about what school safety means and who are the people that help keep our schools safe. I'm going to give you some time to think about this. Some of you may have thought maybe it's the principal, an assistant principal, a teacher, a staff member, and maybe even a student. Those are all great answers. We do ensure safety at our schools by having locked doors, cameras in the building, adults wearing ID badges, campus police officers, and etc. School safety is defined as schools and school-related activities where students are safe from violence, bullying, harassment, and substance abuse. Our district has over 50,000 students and staff this year. So who keeps us all safe? It is important to remember that safety of our campuses involves all of us. In order to keep schools free from violence, harm, threats, and danger, we all have to be actively mindful of situations that jeopardize our campus community. We all want a safe school, right? For as long as schools have been around, they have been the #1 place for academic learning, creating social opportunities to build friendships through sports, clubs, extracurricular activities, and simply preparing students for the real world. With all of those benefits on the line, would you agree that we all want a safe school environment? How do threats impact us? With the recent increase in social media rumors and threats circulating, we have seen that this has negatively impacted schools across the country. School leaders have had to limit access to parts of the campus. Absences have increased, and in some cases, school events have been canceled to avoid potential issue. When you think about how it impacts your child's school, how have threats impacted us this year or in the past? Some instances where your campus may have been impacted by threats this year in the past could be where students will have to go without paper towels, etc., because the bathrooms were damaged during an October TikTok challenge, or kids fighting over online bullying, and even the loss of learning time due to threat investigations that were meant as a joke. Take a look at this bar graph, which displays the number of school shootings that have resulted in injury or death in the United States since 2018. What are your thoughts? Okay, so maybe you have noticed a decline in 2020, an increase in 21, especially after remote learning. As a country, we have experienced 229 gunfire incidents in schools for 2021. Since the Oxford, Michigan shooting, schools nationwide have experienced over 100 threats per day. We saw an increase to over 1,000 threats per day following the rise of TikTok use. Remember, parents, these numbers are on a national scale, so the numbers are concerning for sure, but not staggering. However, what we should be paying attention to is the upward trend for the future. We are paying close attention. The district investigates every threat. To date, less than 10% of threats have been credible. The great majority of these threats are made as a joke or a student passing them on without stopping to think about how serious the comment will be taken. 87% of violent threats came from students during the 2018-2019 school year. This tells us that the majority of the threats to safety at school come from students. How does that make you feel? Think about that for a minute. We have a lot of power as educators and parents to come together to help our children find outlets for their strong feelings. This also gives us a sense of control because we know we can arm our students with the right tools. Let's dig a little deeper into the recent increase over the past year. What do you believe could be contributing factors to this uptick? Some of you might be thinking the pandemic, lack of socializing for so long, extra stress, and the loss of connection to school and the community. We don't know the exact reason for the increasing trend, but we suspect that there are multiple factors involved. What we do know is that we, all of us, as a community, have the power to change the trend and help our students make better choices. If things don't change, how do you think threats will impact you, your child, and your community for the future? Some of you may think that it disrupts the learning environment, a lack of trust, concerns for safety of your child, and even frustration or anxiety. We consider this as a call to action to work together to address this very concern. Now let's talk about what is being done. The good news is that our district has systems in place to help secure our schools and keep students feeling safe. Did you know 100% of SAISD schools have written plans for dealing with scenarios in active shooters? All SAISD schools conduct routine drills of the Emergency Operations Plan and are able to practice those types of scenarios to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of each student and staff in the event of an emergency. What are some other things that your child's school does to keep students safe? Here are some of the actions SAISD schools are taking to keep our students safe. Visitor passes. All visitors are required to check in with the campus front office, show ID, and receive a visitor pass. Safety drills. All campuses participate in lockdown, lockout, and shelter-in-place drills. Rules. Student conduct and digital citizenship rules are in place to promote social, emotional, and physical safety. Anonymous reporting. Students and families can make an anonymous report at any time at p3campus.com. Adult presence. Campus staff are present and aware. All staff receive annual safety training. Specialized training. All SAISD Police Department has specialized training in responding to school threats. We see so much online and at school. So what can each of us do to help our children feel safe at school and make decisions that will keep everyone safe? As a student, if you see something of concern, let parents know. Screenshot the threat if you can. Show a trusted adult. Don't share the post or challenge. If you see something, say something. We can talk to our children and remind them that if they see something harmful online, say something and don't spread it. Tell a teacher, use the P3 anonymous reporting system. What are some of the reasons that come to mind about why people do not report threats? Some reasons may include fear. Fear that they're worried about the consequences of peers or worried others will find out that you reported it. Uncertainty. They're not sure if the threat is real or that the person is actually serious. Indifference. You might not personally connect to the threat, so you don't really care to get involved. Now let's talk about what your child can do to stay safe and what you can do as a parent to support your child. They can help physical safety by following campus procedures, taking the safety drills seriously, fully participating and following adult instructions. And they can also help digital safety by not adding fuel to negative attention, sharing information with authorities, but not fueling it by spreading it to friends and classmates. If you see something, say something. Talk to a teacher, counselor, or administrator, or submit an anonymous report anytime at p3campus.com. Which one of these is your child already doing? If they aren't doing these things, could they start doing them today? And whichever outlet are you comfortable with? Encourage your kids to use the same one. Please listen to a special message from the SAISD Police Department about the P3 Campus Anonymous Reporting System.
P3 Campus is an anonymous reporting system that SAISD utilizes to report safety concerns on your campus. It's monitored by district personnel to include law enforcement and campus administrators. It is completely anonymous, and we will not ask you for any identifying information such as your name, phone number, or where you go to school. You can report concerns such as social media threats, bullying, dating violence, or even friends in need with things like depression or anxiety. We also have resources for things like homelessness and mental health issues. We ask if you see something, say something. It's a great way for you to participate in your campus safety team and to keep the campus safe. Also, it allows you to speak up for those who are unable to speak up for themselves. Tips that provide information that lead to solving crimes may also be submitted for cash rewards. The Safe Schools program works very closely with Campus Crime Stoppers. You may go to p3campus.com or the P3 Campus app and click Submit New Report. You will be issued identification numbers to keep you anonymous. We look forward to working with you and keeping your campus safe.
This message is just a reminder that the P3 is a really great resource. How many of you have heard snitches get stitches? There is a big difference between snitching and reporting. Snitching or tattling is when a student tries to get someone in trouble and doesn't really want to solve the problem. It's important to know the difference between this and reporting a safety concern or problem needing a resolution. Reporting or telling is when a student asks an adult to help in order to keep people or property safe, solve a big problem, find a solution when the student's attempts to solve a small problem have not worked. So what can happen if your child doesn't report a threat that they hear about? There are a number of things that can occur as a result. They place the person making the threat themselves and the school community at risk for harm. The person making the threat does not get help before acting in a way that may harm others or themselves and engaging in behavior that has long-term consequences. By not reporting, they could be found to be actively contributing to the threat, which could result in placement in DAEP. They could lose all district technology privileges. What can happen if your child makes a post or threat, even though they don't mean it? Everyone knows it's a joke. All threats are taken extremely seriously by the district, the police, and the FBI. Your child could be charged by the police with an offense such as terroristic threat, false alarm, or other more serious charges. Your child may be arrested and held at Bexar County Juvenile Detention or the Bexar County Jail, depending on their age. Your child and your family may incur legal fees and fines. Your child may lose their access to district technology and to extracurricular activities such as sports, music, or clubs. Your child will be placed in DAEP or expelled from school. It is very important to make sure our children understand that even posting something as a joke can have very serious consequences. We want to make sure all of our students are aware of these consequences, and that is why these lessons are being delivered to all students in grades 6 through 12. There is so much positive content available on social media. We need to remind our children that they can follow the positive lead of others or be the positive influence that others follow. Encourage your child to share positivity. And now we have a message about online safety from our very own SAISD students.
Do you know what I'm really doing when I'm on the internet or texting?
Did you know that the average teen like me spends about 7 hours every day on social media?
I want you to know that what I text and post online can have lasting consequences in the real world.
All threats are taken extremely seriously, even when I think it's just a joke and I don't really mean it.
When I share something inappropriate,
And am irresponsible with social media?
Or when I text.
Puede afectar a nuestras escuelas y comunidades.
It's not a game.
it's not a game.
It's not a game.
No es un juego.
People can be hurt.
And everything I do online can be traced.
Puedo perder un empleo o una beca en el futuro debido a lo que publicó.
My actions can also lead to charges of making a terroristic threat.
False alarm.
Or more serious charges by local police or the FBI.
So talk to me about safely using the internet.
Social media,
And texting.
Because what I see other kids texting or sharing on social media has a big influence on the things I do.
talk to me about what I'm looking at when I'm online and texting.
Ask how I'm feeling.
Pregunta sobre mis amigos y lo que ellos están viendo, publicando, enviando por texto y sintiendo.
And when we're talking, remind me about P3 Campus.
The district's anonymous reporting system for students.
It's monitored 24 hours a day,
7 days a week.
By district representatives.
And campus staff.
and I can use it to report concerns, like social media threats or other concerns I have about students' behavior.
I can report a concern by visiting p3campus.com or by calling
210-227-TIPS.
Keep reminding me to use my best judgment and think before I post or send a message.
So when I see or know about something shared that is unsafe or inappropriate,
I'll do the right thing and say something.
I'll be true to myself.
And I'll share positivity.
Frequently talk to your children about the serious consequences when they post a threat, so they are more mindful of what they text, post, and share. You can also remind them that if they see something, they should say something. All of us working together, parents and educators, can make a difference and help children make smarter choices. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for partnering with us to help keep all our students safe. This session will be available for parents to view on demand by visiting www.saisd.net/parent workshops. This website also has a schedule of the many parent workshops SAISD Office of Family and Community Engagement offers every week on different topics to help parents support their children socially, emotionally, and academically. Thank you.